Question 1. Sizing branch circuit conductors, the core rule. Topic. Basic continuous duty conductor sizing multiplier. Question. What is the minimum rating for branch circuit conductors supplying a single continuous duty motor? A. 100% of the motor full load current. B. 115% of the motor full load current. C. 125% of the motor full load current. D. 150% of the motor full load current. Answer. C. 125% of the motor full load current. Explanation. Turn your book to NEC 430.22. It states that conductors supplying a single motor, used for continuous duty, must have an ampacity of not less than 125% of the motor's full load current rating. Question 2. Sizing feeder conductors, multiple motors. Topic. Sizing the main wire feeding a group of motors. Question. When sizing feeder conductors that supply multiple motors, what percentage multiplier is applied to the largest motor? A. 125%. B. 100%. C. 80%. D. 250%. Answer. A. 125%. Explanation. Flip over to NEC 430.24. When you have a group of motors, you take 125% of the full load current of the highest rated motor in the group, and then you simply add the full load currents of all the other motors at 100%. You only multiply the biggest one. Question 3. The nameplate versus table trap. Topic. Where to find your current value for wire sizing. Question. When determining the conductor size for a standard motor branch circuit, where must you get the motor's full load current value? A. The motor nameplate FLA. B. The manufacturer's spec sheet. C. The tables at the end of NEC Article 430. D. The values listed on the controller. Answer. C. The tables at the end of NEC Article 430. Explanation. Check out NEC 430.6, A1. It explicitly tells us that for sizing conductors, switches, and overcurrent protection, you must use the tables at the back of Article 430, like Table 430.248. Question 4. For which of the following calculations must you use the actual motor nameplate full load amperes rating? A. Sizing the branch circuit conductors. B. Sizing the short circuit protection. C. Sizing the motor overload protection. D. Sizing the feeder disconnect. The correct answer is C. Sizing the motor overload protection. According to NEC 430.6A2, separate motor overload protection must be chosen based on the actual motor nameplate full load current rating. While conductor and breaker sizing rely on the standard tables at the back of Article 430, overload protection protects the actual physical windings of that specific motor, requiring you to use the real nameplate value. Question 5. What is the maximum overload trip selection for a continuous duty motor with a marked service factor of 1.15? A. 115% of nameplate current. B. 125% of nameplate current. C. 130% of nameplate current. D. 140% of nameplate current. The correct answer is B. 125% of nameplate current. Per NEC 430.32, A1. For a standard motor with a marked service factor of 1.15 or higher, the overload device must be selected at no more than 125% of the nameplate current. If the service factor was less than 1.15 or not marked at all, this requirement would drop down to 115%. Question 6. What is the maximum standard rating for an inverse time circuit breaker protecting a standard branch circuit for a single-phase AC motor? A. 125%. B. 150%. C. 250%. D. 300%. The correct answer is C. 250%. To find this, look at Table 430.52. Under the column for inverse time circuit breaker and cross-reference with single-phase AC motors, the maximum rating is 250%. This large multiplier is permitted to allow the high inrush starting current to pass without tripping the breaker.
According to National Electrical Code Article 210, general purpose receptacle outlets and dwelling units must be placed so that no points along the floor line of any wall space is more than how many feet from an outlet? A. 4 feet. B. 6 feet. C. 8 feet. D. 12 feet. Answer B. 6 feet.
What is the required height for emergency lighting fixtures? Answer: National Electrical Code 700.16 differs to NFPA 101, which requires emergency lighting to be positioned no lower than 80 inches to avoid obstruction. What is the minimum clearance for outdoor AC disconnect? Answer: National Electrical Code 440.14 requires the disconnect must be within sight of the equipment, within 50 feet and readily accessible. No specific height requirement, but commonly 4 to 6 feet. What is the required working space height for electrical equipment? Answer: National Electrical Code 110.26.A.3 requires a minimum headroom clearance of 6 feet and 6 inches for electrical rooms and enclosures. What is the required height for emergency lighting fixtures? Answer: National Electrical Code 700.16 differs to NFPA 101, which requires emergency lighting to be positioned no lower than 80 inches to avoid obstruction. Explain the process of troubleshooting of a dead outlet. Number 1. Check the circuit breaker to see if it is tripped. Number 2. Test the outlet with a voltmeter to check for power. Number 3. Check nearby outlets or GFCI outlets that may have trip. Number 4. Inspect the wiring connections inside the outlet box. And number 5, if necessary, trace the circuit to identify any. What is the function of GFCI and EFCI? Both GFCI and EFCI are safety devices, but they protect against different electrical hazards. GFCI means ground fault circuit interrupter, and EFCI arc fault circuit interrupter. GFCI protects you from electric shocks by detecting leak of electricity or ground faults, and it can be seen in bathroom, kitchens, outdoor outlets, and garages. While EFCI prevents electrical fires by detecting dangerous sparks, arc faults, and